Have you ever wanted to live in an underground missile silo? Well, here's a few ways you can. Beginning in the 1960s, the United States Air Force constructed over 1,000 nuclear bomb-resistant underground missile silos all around the United States. These underground structures were all made of at least 2 to 10 foot thick concrete walls, reinforced with structural rebar. No expense was spared in construction efforts, as these were built to protect the nation from a Russian nuclear attack. With time, each of these types of underground missile silos were decommissioned and abandoned. And that's where you come in.
These nuclear bomb-resistant structures that were built for nearly $130 million in today's value were sold for pennies on the dollar at public auction. You can have your pick from a whole slew of different missile silo designs, ranging from the modestly sized Atlas D, E, or F silos, the massive Titan I, or the mighty Titan II complex. The Atlas series of ICBMs are most plentiful and are located all over the United States, such as in New Mexico, Texas, Kansas, Nebraska, Oklahoma, New York, California, and Wyoming. In total, 107 of these missile silos were built, and most are privately owned. If you're not that type that wants to live underground like a dwarf, the Atlas D or E bunker may be the best for you, and here's why. The Atlas D was pretty much a reinforced concrete structure built at ground level. When an order to launch was received, a large door opened and allowed the missile to be raised into a vertical position from what was called the coffin. Atlas E sites were similar to the D series, but the reinforced concrete structure was buried in order to better resist a nearby nuclear strike. Now keep in mind, these two types of bunkers aren't nearly as nuclear bomb resistant due to the lack of materials surrounding them. If you want something more substantial and capable of withstanding the apocalypse, the Atlas F would better suit you. By the early 1960s, 72 Atlas F missile silos were constructed, and within just a few short years, they were decommissioned due to newer technology becoming available. When the Atlas silos were decommissioned, only sensitive equipment was removed, but the silo and control centers were left mostly intact. Some missile silo launch ducts had the crib or the metal framework removed which once cradled the missile. If that's the case, you'll need to invest a fair amount into some structural engineering in order to create new levels in the nearly 180 foot deep and 52 foot wide launch duct. This has been done by some private owners, which makes for a pretty amazing end-of-the-world scenario bunker. If you've got the time and money, you can invest in a Titan I missile complex. These complexes are literally made up of over a mile-long labyrinth of underground tunnels which connect multiple control centers, power generator rooms, and 3 missile silos. A Titan I facility has over 50,000 square feet of living space throughout the underground structures. If you're wanting to do a remake of a Fallout vault, this is the right space for you. Now, if you're interested in a bunker that once housed the largest ICBM ever used by the US military, the Titan II is calling your name. 54 of these silos were made in Arizona, Kansas, and Arkansas. They were in service for over 20 years, and by the mid-80s, all were decommissioned due to new treaties with Russia. Unlike the Atlas and Titan I missile silos, the Titan II had to be rendered unusable as a missile launch facility in accordance with the missile treaties. The first and second levels of the launch duct were blown up, and the ensuing rubble was pushed into the launch duct. Then a 3 foot thick concrete cap reinforced with rebar was poured over the top of that, ensuring that it wouldn't be used again to house a nuclear missile. The access and air shafts were also filled with concrete and rubble, making the launch control center inaccessible. But if you're willing to put in some work, you can dig out the concrete and rubble to make access to the nearly 4,000 square foot living space inside the launch control center, blast lock, and decon room. So, which one will it be? The Atlas series, the Titan I, the Titan II? You can make your choice soon, but let me fill you in on what's in store if you choose to continue with this deal. Get ready for a lot of work, either for yourself or for someone else that you're going to pay to get the job done. These underground facilities were left in disrepair when they were decommissioned, and many were left unattended and abandoned for years. Depending on the location of the bunker, if the water table is high, it may be flooded and will need to be pumped out and renovated accordingly. Now, I don't personally own an Atlas or a Titan I missile silo, but I'll tell you from my own experience of owning a Titan II missile silo what it's going to take to get it into livable condition.